Evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the first 11 ground at Tottenham. What a quiet week, gents. What a quiet week as a Tottenham fan. Alan, how are you?
I'm good. Nothing much happened with Spurs this week, so it should be a quiet show, I suppose.
It should be a very quiet show. Jacob, my friend, how are you?
I'm all good, mate. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
It's been a fortnight, man. It's too long.
I know, I do apologise. I was drinking heavily last Friday, so I even forgot. It took the wife to remind me that day that we had a party that we had agreed to go to, but
No excuse. No
I
excuse.
thought the corner for you, gents. Don't worry. I said no. I can't let him down. But when the wife says no, I mean, before I go to Mark, obviously shout out bits and bobs, doing plenty of bits, but not now, Bob. Not now, Bob. Too soon for that. If you haven't watched it yet, obviously check out the link in Bob's Twitter. Did a show for BBC Scotland with Gretna. That is definitely a show to catch up on. So make sure to catch out bits and bobs on Twitter. Now, Mark, is there anything positive you could be about this week? It's been quite a rubbish week.
Yeah, it's been awful, isn't it? Especially waking up Sunday morning, having to go through the whole Sunday and just, oh God, then Monday morning, and then all of a sudden those little bites on Monday afternoon and everybody going, it's never going to happen. And then Tuesday you're thinking, wow, it's going to happen. And yeah, absolutely. So, lots to talk about, I'm sure, but really exciting.
We have. I don't know, obviously, Bob's is talking about he's jealous that we've got Conte, but I'm not quite sure who this Conte fella is. Maybe on the 40-minute mark of tonight we'll know who he is a bit better. But for everybody waiting, it's finally the week. It is finally the week that we've got our panelist on. She's ready to come and talk Spurs. She's ready to give Alan as much shit as possible.
Why me?
She's here to defend Mark's honour for all of Alan's nastiness.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kirst to the stream. Kirst, how are you?
Hi, I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for having me on at last. It feels like we've been trying to plan this for a very long time.
Very long time, yes. Like I say, I think I've been chasing Kirst for the stream now for probably about a month and a half. And then when Mark said it after a show one day, and he went, "It's that girl on Twitter, that Kirst. You get her on." I said, "I'm trying, Mark. I am trying." But we'll get straight into it, and I'll go straight to Alan first. Let's set us off straight, Alan. 3-0 loss at home to Manchester United, who were desperate to lose that game, so their manager would get the boot. How did you feel after that game?
It really was El Sacco. We'll get to that later. I was watching it with Terry in the studio, the Football Terry studio. Quick plug there for Terry. And it was awful. Absolutely shocking performance. We made Ollie look like prime Pep. We made Man United look like prime Barcelona. Literally, it was a team, breadth of ideas, slow build-up, no tactics. A team that didn't want to play for that manager. It was just awful. Wrong decisions made by the manager, bringing on Undembele for... No, who was it again? Sorry. Bringing on Bergwijn for Mora when it should have been Lo Celso. Got rightfully booed. It was just an awful toxic atmosphere. And I never want to lose a match. But if having to lose that match can point us in the right direction finally, then so be it. But yeah, it was awful from start to finish. I don't think there was one bit of that game I enjoyed.
No, you're the same as the rest of them. I mean, Mark, you are the most positive Spurs fan we've got, and our WhatsApp group was, oh God, I've never known a Mark like it before. So
Yeah,
try and explain it to us, Mark. How did that game make you feel?
Oh God, it just, I thought after like 2 minutes, I thought, here we go. This could be quite good. And then just from there, it went downhill. And I echo what Alan said. It was a hard watch. It was a real tough watch. And even the most positive Spurs fan, as the time went on, and then you could hear the crowd just in the background, and you could hear them getting on and on and on. And then you're right, when they brought, and poor Bergwijn, you can imagine he's standing on the side there. There's like 62,000 people. It's not his fault. He's on the bench. The coach has said to him, "Come, you're going on," and he was just, it was just awful. But I got a sneaky suspicion, and this is just me being a cynic, but I think people were talking already, and I don't mean the fans, but I think in the background, kind of deals had already been spoken about. And I think there was already a bit of Paratici and our main man having a chat, and there was interest. And that's why I think kind of things happen so quickly. But for me, in my whole life and for all my time that I've been watching Spurs, I think, and I hate Spurs losing. I really, really hate Spurs losing. It's the best 3-0 loss I think I'll ever witness, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. Like I say, I watched the game with my brother, and before the game, he was saying to me, "I hope you absolutely spank us today because Ollie, he's desperate for Ollie out now."
Yeah.
But I was saying the same to him. I was saying the same to him. No, I want you to win this game because I want that sack of shit out who's in our dugout at the minute. So I don't want him in there no more. Jacob, how did you feel about that? Obviously, it's not nice as a Tottenham fan wanting to lose a game. Deep down, you don't want to lose a game. It's easy to say it, but how did you feel after that 3-0 loss?
I think it's weird because I've got a lot of friends that are United fans, and it's like it felt like they wanted United to lose more than we wanted Tottenham to lose, only for the fact that if we lost that game, I didn't feel that Nuno was going to get sacked. I just thought, you know what, we'll go and lose to United. And even if Nuno gets sacked, I didn't feel Daniel Levy was going to make the right appointment because realistically, he made the wrong appointment in the first place. So when we lost, but the thing is, though, the way we lost it, I thought, all right. But luckily for me, I was out for my daughter's birthday meal. So when it went 2-0, I'm sitting there eating out of a Chinese buffet. As soon as Rashford scored, I just turned my phone off. I was just like, you know what, fuck this. Like, I'm enjoying my food. It's my daughter's 9th birthday. I'm not going to let it ruin this. But I just put my phone aside and thought, you know what, I'll watch the highlights later and I hope that something happens. So in the last sort of week, I'm generally still shocked that, one, we got rid of Nuno and we made an appointment like we did. But then again, we're all yids. We all know that as much as we made the appointment, we all thought the same thing about Mourinho. Mourinho came in and we thought, even though the football's going to be crap, we're going to win something. So I'm not saying Conte's football's crap, but I'm still reserving judgment just for the sheer fact that we got Daniel Levy in charge.
No, that's absolutely fine. You are fair to do that. But first, I mean, Nuno's team selection for the Man U game, obviously dropping Reguilon for Ben Davis and Ndombele for Lo Celso. How did you feel when you saw the lineup come out?
To be fair, you see Ben Davis's name and you just don't want to watch the game anyways. So yeah, I can't wait until the day we actually just get rid of him. I really don't like him. Yeah, that United game, to be honest, I didn't watch the full thing because I was working, and then I went to my parents, which again was a big mistake because my dad is a massive United fan. But I managed to watch so much of it. I saw Romero's offside goal, which I was gutted about. But at the end of the day, we might have lost the 3 points, but we've got probably the best manager in the league. So I think we've still won in our own way, haven't we?
Oh, massively. I mean, Alan, what did you think to the team? Obviously, when the team come out, I know how I felt. Obviously, when I saw Ben Davis's name at left back, I thought, no, this has got to be one of them spam accounts that you get on Twitter now. It can't be the real lineup. But obviously, it was. How did you feel going into that game with Davis and Lo Celso in?
So Davis isn't the worst defender, but he's nowhere near the best defender. He can do a job, but more often than not, he's got problems with it. Reguilon's been one of our best players, but I think him and Nuno had like a set two after taking him off, I think, the game prior. So I'm glad that Nuno has gone because Reguilon's been one of our best players this season. Why Lo Celso is even near that first 11, I don't know. He's awful. his passing isn't great, his finishing isn't great, and he's a coward who pulls out of tackles. I don't have any time for him. I don't want him to play. I want him to be sold. I don't think he's good enough for 50 million. What we bought him for, 45, 50. He needs to perform to a much higher standard. That he's not doing it. And people say he does it for Argentina, but that's not for Tottenham. As long as they don't get injured, like any players that go away for their country, I just don't care. I don't care what they do for their country. As long as they come back and perform for Tottenham, that's all I care about. So yeah, he's not good enough for that. I think Ndombele should have started because he's got a much better ball than Lo Celso. But it was just, I mean, take that performance and then look at the performance against Vitesse under a different manager. Look at the way Royal, for the first time, was getting forward, bombing on, taking people on, crossing the ball in. Where was that before? Where was any of that before? The only time you got it was every now and again with Reguilon. It was because of the tactics, and now you've got the players that want to play for the manager. So for me, good riddance. I feel sorry for the guy because he should never have been in a job, but I think we've got a manager there who can, with time and add into the team. It's not going to be an overnight thing. Adding to that team, can take us places.
Now, Mark, that is the perfect way to get straight into the news that came after the Manchester United game. Obviously, it was a big rumour the day after. Look at Mark's smile. Look at the smile on Mark's face.
No, sorry, you broke up there.
Mark's always smiling.
Yeah.
Tell me, Mark, the day after when he was reading all the rumours, the Nuno's close to sacked and all that lot, how did you expect him to actually be sacked, or did you just think it was Levy trying to appease the fans and pretend like he was getting involved?
No, I genuinely Sunday I thought he would go. In fact, I thought he would go Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, because even Sky News broke it round about, I think, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, to say that they're in talks. They're sitting down. And this is why I think already before, maybe even the Friday or the Saturday, there had been calls from Paratici and Conte and his people and things like that. So I think the decision, that's why it happened so quickly, because I think, that's what happened. But then on the Sunday afternoon, you started hearing rumors again about Conte, and you just sit there and you go, yeah, we've heard this on the summer, haven't we? We've heard it for a long time. And like what Jacob was saying, our biggest worry, like I think all of us, was get rid of Nuno, fine. But who are we going to bring in? Now, obviously, you got the name Conte there, and then we've got all the other names, Ten Hag, we've got Eddie Howe named, we've got just, everybody, Graham, Potter from Brighton, and everybody's just being mentioned, and, it's like a whirlwind. And I was sitting on Twitter, like every 2 minutes, refresh. And yeah, it was hard, but deep down inside, I thought he was gone. I thought he was a dead man walking, unfortunately, and nobody likes to see them lose their jobs. But listen, he's walking away with 14 million or something. So, he's not going to be underpaid. I'd love to leave my job and earn 14 million from walking away from it. But if hand on my heart, I didn't think I'd be waking up or listening on Monday afternoon where it looked 99.9% sure that we were going to get our new manager, Yeah. And then when Fabrizio Romano starts really talking highly about it, you start to think, oh, even Michael Bridge turned around and was going, there's no ways, no chance, nothing, no. And he's like Sky Sports News, big Spurs fan. So when he's saying there's no chance, you're thinking, yeah, come on, they know more than what we know. And then lo and behold, my God, and I got the TV on the background, and guess who just pops up? Antonio.
Who's that? Who's that?
So I like I say, I think he was a dead man walking on Sunday. I didn't think there was any way he was coming back. Not after the fans reacted. I think Daniel Levy had no choice. Yeah. He had no choice. I'm not a Daniel Levy lover. I never have been, but he's a businessman, and he knows when he has to do something to appease people, and he's gone and done that, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, how do you feel for obviously Nuno getting sacked? Obviously, it was never the right appointment. It was never the right job for him. Did you expect him to last longer than he has?
Nah. And if I'm honest, Daniel Levy didn't expect it either, because if you're serious about a coach, we all know in football terms, you give him a 3-year deal. Now, the only reason why Conte got an 18-month deal, it's not because Daniel Levy offered it to him. It's because Conte said to Daniel Levy, I'll give you 18 months to make sure that you deliver, because I know you're a prick. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. There's no way Daniel Levy's had 18 months to arguably a top 5 coach in Europe. You know what I mean? Like, everywhere Conte's gone in the last sort of 5-10 years, he's dug out a team, whether they're ready or not, to challenge for a league, and made sure that they're not only challenge for a league, but they're continually doing it. And then he only leaves when someone's taking the mick. So Daniel Levy's been known to take the mick from the start. So the only thing that gives me confidence that this will work is because I don't think Conte's gone in there and done the same thing as Mourinho, because the difference between Conte and Mourinho is that Mourinho was desperate for a job. Conte's probably said, if you don't give me 150 mil, I ain't taking it. So
Yeah.
it's one of those. I do feel confident, but at the end of the day, we all know that Daniel Levy can just do something to piss us all off.
Well, that could happen at any point. I mean, Curse, I've got a question here from Eagle-Eyed Football. Do you think the players down tools for Nuno? Do you think they stop caring at all?
Yeah, absolutely. You could tell that their hearts just wasn't in it, especially with Harry Kane. Like, I don't think any of them was thrilled when we got appointed with Nuno. The fans weren't either. Like, even in his interviews, he was way too reserved. He was, I'm trying to think of the right term. I'll just call him a people pleaser, even though obviously he wasn't one. But he said what he thought the fans wanted to hear. He was always promising us that we'd be proud and all the rest of it. And none of us was. We lost majority of the games. I think did we lose like 5 games out of 10 or something like that? That's what I mean. Like, we shouldn't have a record like that this far into the season. So it was his time to go anyways, even if he maybe didn't get sacked last week but got sacked this week, it would have just been too late next week anyway. Like, I'm glad that he's gone. I definitely think that the down tool, as that saying was, for him. Like, I think as well, like Harry Winks, like, who would have expected him to perform yesterday the way that he actually did? That shocked me. I wasn't expecting him to even get a touch on the ball.
Never mind, pass it forward.
Yeah, that's it.
Or run forward.
Exactly.
It's like man possessed.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, Alan, we all know how you felt about Nuno. You weren't on your own. Obviously, we all knew that Nuno weren't right. Does it? It's hard to say. Does it make you happy that he's been sacked? It does, clearly, because you're a fan of Tottenham. But do you just see it as Daniel Levy wasted not only our time but Nuno's time as well, knowing this was never the right fit?
I think he was appointed purely for the fact it was the best financial choice. That's all it comes down to with Levy. There was Nuno available, who was going to be the cheaper out of all of the ones that was there, and Daniel Levy doing Daniel Levy things, wanting to save a quick buck. And yet again, he's got rid of another manager who's having to pay a compensation to. But Daniel Levy only got in this. People are saying, I think Paratici had Conte's ear because of the relationship they had at Juventus. But I am absolutely positive that Daniel Levy heard the response of the fans for the Underbelly thing, and also started hearing about himself, get Daniel Levy out of the club and all that, all the chants of going on about him. And that's what made him act. Because when have we ever spent, especially in January, £150 million? That's been promised to Conte. So for me, this is the best appointment, purely for the fact is that if he doesn't now give Conte what he wants, Conte isn't going to be like quiet and take it. He's going to do one of the things. He's going to either, or both, he's going to call it out in front of everyone, being promised this hasn't happened, or Conte will probably walk. And then it will expose Daniel Levy for the type of person that we all know he is somebody who wants to benefit and get loads of revenue and income for, to line his pockets, and not back the club and not get trophies on the pitch like he claims he wants to. So for me, this is Daniel Levy backed into a corner, either put up or shut up, and we'll see. But yeah, he's wasted fans' time. He's wasted, let's just say he wanted to stump up the money and actually get a quality manager in from the beginning and give him the money that was promised and all that. You know, with a full summer and pre-season and all that, there's no saying where we could be, you know, because you can instantly see the lift and the players, you know, in that one game, you know, looking better than what they have all season. Not saying that obviously we'd win the league or that, but there's no reason why we couldn't be top 4 at the moment, like with a proper manager in from the start, ahead of what we've seen so far. So Daniel Levy, you know, costing us as always, and then only when he's backed into a corner does he look like he's going to actually finally stump up the money. But I hope he backs Conte the way he does. If he doesn't, then it's typical Daniel Levy, and he's the next focus for the fans. And it's about time that fans realise that as soon as you start booing this man and caught, you know, in the stadium, he will actually react and do something. So us fans have a voice, and we need to make sure he's aware when he's doing a bad job.
Yeah, I mean, I did say 40 minutes in we'll talk about it, but we just can't. I just can't leave it another 20 minutes. I can't possibly do it. I mean,
we're trying so hard not to say anything.
It's Tottenham Hotspur have hired Antonio Conte as the manager of this football club. I mean, Mark, to say we're in Conference League, to say that we've not signed many players, to say that the chairman doesn't, does that not just prove to any other rival fan the size of our club to attract a manager of Antonio Conte's stature? To say he never joins sides mid-season. He's always said he will never go to a side mid-season. He will only go either summer. The only time he'll go to a new club is in the summer, but we've managed to now get him at the start of the season, 10 games in. Does that not tell everyone that actually Tottenham are a big club? Whether we prove it with trophies or not, we are actually a big club.
Oh, we are a big club. Look, I think, you know, you talk to every other fan barring a Tottenham over the last 2 days, and they'll tell you now, as soon, you know, and I've seen it all over Twitter. I've been reading things from other fans, and, you know, a lot of Chelsea fans as well. You know, you're reading what they're saying. They're putting us in the mix now, not to win it. Let's not get carried away. But all of a sudden now we're in the mix. You know, we're in the mix. We've got like this godlike figure coming in. And you know, for me, I look at it this way: if we didn't have Paratici, would have Levy been able to get him? You know, is the common denominator here Paratici? So, you know, I also wonder, you know, did Joe Lewis get involved over the last few days from his Bahamian, where he phones and goes, Daniel, do something, pal. They don't like you. They do not like you. All I can hear is Levy out, Levy out, Levy out, get him out. You know, so you don't know. And I suppose when he clicks his finger, everybody at Tottenham jumps, or Joe Lewis. So listen, I think, and what's got to me, have you seen anywhere where Daniel Levy's gone, I want to welcome Antonio Conte, he's the best manager on the planet, track record? He said nothing. It's all Paratici at the moment. So from what I can see, you know, he's brought Paratici in, and he's kind of letting Paratici be the managing director of football, because it's only Paratici that's talking about Conte and everybody from there. I've not seen any quotes from Daniel Levy or anything like that. So that's a plus in my, you know, we all agree Daniel Levy as a businessman is phenomenal. The stadium, the grounds and all that, and being the cash pin. But when it comes to the footballing sides, leave it to the guys that know what they're doing. And hopefully we've got somebody like Paratici, who has now gone and got one of the top 3 managers on the planet. And hopefully he can take some of those players. And, you know, Kirst just mentioned earlier, Harry Winks. Harry Winks last night, 15 minutes. Did you see him? He went from where Romero was and he went to the other side's box. I was like, what is he doing? Now, I think, and listen, I'm not going to stand here and go, I think Winks is a great player, because for the last 2 years, he's been absolutely pants. But I still think there's a little thing in Winks, you know, even when he was younger coming through. Now, if Antonio Conte can get a tune out of this young lad, you know, you never know. You know, I heard something this morning. I was driving and I was listening to Talk Sport, and somebody said there's going to be players that are great players or good players now that will not make it under Conte. And there's going to be players who we think, no, ship them out, dead wood, but are going to become great players now under Conte. And it's going to be because of their desire. It's going to be because of their passion, because they want to work for him. Because what did he say? Did you notice in all the post-match interviews, Sonny, Lucas Moura, all of them were going, we've got to hurt. It's got to be painful. It's got to hurt. We've got to work hard. They kept on using these same words that he was using. So I'm sure he's been then saying, it's got to be painful. You've got to put your body on the line. We went down to 10 men. Look at that. We looked a little bit solid. So, yeah, no, it's very exciting times. I walked in on Tuesday morning into work and people go, why are you smiling? Well, I enjoy my work. No. Find Antonio Conte, man. Fine. Yeah.
Jacob, take away the Daniel Levy cloud that's clearly hanging over your head at the minute. I know, obviously, no Spurs fan is truly a fan of Daniel Levy, but take Daniel Levy out of it and just think about the hiring of Conte. How does Antonio Conte, as a Tottenham fan, make you feel, Jacob?
Yeah, it makes me feel good, but then it's like with Conte, it's the same with top coaches. Like, you look at Guardiola, you look at Mourinho. It's like they need the backing from their chairman. So as much as I want to be happy that we've got Conte, there's no point in Conte. If you left Conte with the squad that we got now and Daniel Levy gave him no money, then I'd be like, there's no point. You might as well let me manage the thing, because it's pretty clear no matter what coach comes in, even Nuno, to be fair, I feel sorry for him because he needed just a little bit of backing. You look at Man United, for instance, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a crap coach, but because he's got Ronaldo, he's getting through it, and everybody knows it's not nothing to do with Ole, but because the club have backed him with Ronaldo, he's getting the results. Whereas with Nuno, it's like the best, our Ronaldo, let's say, and Harry Kane doesn't even want to be here. So as much as I'm happy with Conte, it's like it's the final straw for me. If it gets to the point where somehow it goes wrong with Conte and it's all to do with Daniel Levy and Enoch Group not delivering, then as far as I'm concerned, I'll just give up with Tottenham and believing that we're going to win anything under this stewardship. It's as simple as that.
Hopefully, if he does back him and gives Conte the money and all that, maybe we could be polishing up silverware rather than just Daniel Levy's bald head every season. Hopefully, we'll be polishing some silverware.
You know what? Just before you chimed in there, Alan, I was going to say to Jacob,
Well said.
I was going to exchange that grumpy crown. I thought, you know what? Jacob could be the grumpy one now. But when you open your mouth, Alan, and you start to speak, it goes straight back onto your head. So you can keep that now, Alan.
What is that?
Me and Alan can be grumpy together. Let's be grumpy together. Let's have it. You know what I mean? If these are going to be happy, we'll just be grumpy. Don't worry about it. We're both from Kent, so what do you expect?
Right. Well, this is a happy stream, so it's just the three of us now. Oh, I can't do it to him. I just can't.
I'm going HR about this. This is too frequent.
Oh God. Well, Kirst, I'm going to ask you now. Obviously, Daniel Levy is a big component in this signing. But do you think we've actually now got the manager to? I'll even use the word scare Daniel Levy into actually spending his money.
Yeah, like you said, since when did we ever know to spend 150 million the winter transfer window? Like, it never happens. I think that as well, because we've got Conte and his assistant coach that was with him at Juventus and Inter, I think that Daniel Levy will see what them two have won together. And that'll make him think, actually, like, with Paratici, like, on their side as well, because they've obviously got that relationship there and that history, he's going to think, oh, this might bring me more money. And because, obviously, the fans was all booing at him and chanting Levy out and stuff, that's obviously got back to him as well. So I think that it's definitely going to be a step forward. And I think that the fans have had a really big part in this. And, obviously, if it doesn't work in the January window, it's going to backfire on Levy, because I think Conte especially will be thinking, well, why have I accepted this and I've been promised this and it hasn't happened? So I think if Levy obviously doesn't uphold that, what he's promised Conte, then it's going to just go massively downhill. The only way it'll work, I think, is if he does get backed by Levy. So I can completely understand why Jacob sat on the edge of his seat thinking, well, you know, since when has Levy ever like kept his promises and stuff? Like, the guy only thinks about himself and his pocket. Like, he doesn't care about the club, don't care about the fans. Completely understand it. I think it's definitely going to be one of those where we'll see it as and when it happens, and it'll be like trouble, I think, if obviously it doesn't go through.
Don't defend these men, Kirst. Don't defend the grumpy ones in this stream. Don't you defend these grumpy.
I'm 50-50 at the minute because I completely get where they're coming from.
Yeah, deep down.
Ryan understands where we're coming from as well, but he's just putting a fake smile on. He's probably I reckon if you speak to Ryan's dad, he'd be like, he's grumpier than Alan.
Yeah, I reckon so.
And
he's trying to be the mature host.
Yeah, my daughters aren't allowed to watch Tottenham with me because if we don't play well, I like to redecorate the living room furniture as we're playing, so they're not allowed in the room with me. But no, Jacob, I'm not grumpy. I'm the most positive aftermark Spurs fan you could possibly find. Daniel,
wait, have you seen your tweets lately? Before conference?
Yeah,
I was hacked, Alan. I was hacked.
Oh, okay.
My theory is, if you're a Spurs fan and you're not grumpy, then you've got a small club mentality.
Oh, yes, Jacob. Yes,
it's as
Jacob.
simple as that. If you're a Spurs fan for the last 20 years and you're happy with what's going on, then you've got the same mentality as Bournemouth.
That's offensive.
Not even Bournemouth or like, no, maybe not too.
First, where are you for Alan's gifts?
Actually, not even Bournemouth. I'd say, you know, you look at Newcastle, for instance, forget the fact that they've got all that money pumped into them, yeah? If you said to Newcastle before the Saudi Arabia boys come in and said to them, in 3 years' time, you're going to be doing what Tottenham are doing right now, they'd be over the moon. But then we're in that position where we're finishing 6th or 7th, and if you're somebody that supports Spurs and you're finishing 6th or 7th, and you're like, you know what? Great job. Then you might as well support Newcastle. Then, you know what I mean? Are we trying to be a top? Are we trying to be a Champions League team like Poch was trying to set us up, or are we trying to be, I don't know, what Jackson Teeney was doing and finishing 10th, and we're doing cartwheels like Robbie Keane?
No, the only difference is there's happy and there's satisfied. You could be happy with Tottenham with what we've just done with the hiring.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody will be satisfied with Tottenham as a club.
What's she doing?
Yes.
Who invited you?
Yeah, so no, I get it, Jacob. Honestly, no, you are exactly right. I say all of us on this stream and so many other Tottenham fans are buzzing that we've got this manager in, but as a club as a whole, none of us will be satisfied until we actually reach the potential that we've shown on the Pochettino and even Harry Redknapp to that extent. We had potential on the Harry Redknapp as well. But Alan, can we actually do things with this manager? Is this a manager that you look at now and think different system, different way of playing? Do you think the players will jump to his every word with the sort of man that he is?
I reckon, yeah. I mean, look at the performance on Thursday. Obviously, there was problems at the back, and there will be until he gets his because he only had one training session. But instantly, the fight was there, the intensity was there. You know, on the front foot, wanting to basically running themselves into the ground for this manager. It's what he gets team players to do for him, which is always a good thing because that's not what we've done for some time. Under Poch, we were the team that run the most, everything like that. We've not had that since him. I think that may change under Conte. I think that one of his first sentences to all of them was like, I will be here for every single one of you. If you give 100% for me, if you run yourselves into the ground for me, I will be here for every single one of you. That's powerful because that, you know, it's getting that trust in between manager and players. There's going to be until January as well. There's going to be some bumpy times like because, you know, with some of our back line and all that, you know, in their defensive skills, you know, the famous saying is you can't polish a turd. You know, you can only do what you can do with what you've got. So, and there's still some problems. I mean, you can improve on Dyer, you can improve on Sanchez, you can improve on Rodon, Romero. For me, he's a little bit too, I want to tackle. I think he needs to develop into his game just because I see him getting quite a few red cards in his first career because of the way he likes to tackle. But yeah, it's a new system that's going to take time because I don't think we've played that type of system before under another Spurs manager. I think the last time we played a 3-5-2 or something like that was under Hoddle, which was years ago. So none of these players know that. It's getting used to that system. So it's going to take time. But yeah, in using Reguilon and Royal going forward the way they were on Thursday, if they can continue to do that, then you've got an extra 3 attackers up front, and you have the assurances of the defensive midfielders to cover the centre back. So it's a proven system for Conte, and hopefully he gets the players to make sure that is that. And why can't we not this season? You know, I'll take any trophy this season. Oh my God, I want a trophy. I'll take the Conference League. I don't care. I'll take any trophy. But what's to say that if he gets the right players in January and gets his team that he wants, why can't next season we challenge for top 4 or even better? I'm not saying we're going to win it next season, but you give this guy money and you back him, he brings you success. So why can't he do it for us?
Yeah, before I go to Mark, obviously we've got Premier Hotspur TV. It's a channel that you all should definitely check out. Obviously, just saying, hope you guys, well, that should say, evening guys, hope you're all happy about Conte, bar Jacob and Alan, because they're still sceptical, but this guy's a real deal. And he will deliver at this club as well. So, Mark, let me ask you, we are in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals, 5 points off top 4. Conference League still there, FA Cup obviously due to start. What can Conte achieve with us this season?
I think as a manager, you know, when you look at his track record and you know who he's had underneath him, like he's taken a Victor Moses and changed him into a phenomenal player. He took a Ashley Young. And he won a Serie A. So, listen, this guy is a born winner. I've got a sneaky suspicion he'll take some of our players that we've been lauding to get out, and like maybe a young Winks, and we'll give him a second wind, and we'll turn him into a player where we're all sitting at the end of the season going, "Oh my God, I didn't think he had it in him." It's all about confidence, isn't it? It's all about playing for him. And it's about his rules and everything. And if everybody buys into it, which all the other teams, like when he was at Chelsea, Juventus, Inter, they've all bought into it. And when you buy into something like that and a philosophy like Pochettino, you know, I remember seeing Twitter and all that when Pochettino first joined. He used to have double training sessions. Dyer and Dele Alli, they all hated it. I mean, hated it. Training twice, in the morning and in the afternoon. The fittest side on the field, didn't they? How many times did we win late on? You know, we always used to win from the 80th minute, 81st, 85th, because we used to run and run and run. And they bought into Pochettino. And I think Conte's the same kind of guy. You buy into him. I'm already hearing... Listen, how true it is, I don't know. But I'm already hearing Kane is like, oh, my God, you know, maybe my mind's going to change because now I'm going to be playing for Conte. This guy can take me to the next level as well. So, look, the jury's out. The guy had one game last night, and I think he's seen everything from phenomenal to disastrous to red cards to I don't know what the hell this game is about, the most chaotic game he's ever seen. And he doesn't like chaos. He likes structure. This is how you play. This is how you do. But, you know, even in his first game, did you see him bellowing out on the side there? Ben, what the are you doing, Ben? Ben, get back, Ben. You know,
Boy, we was all doing it.
No.
I've been doing that for 7 years, mate. Ben, what are you doing?
You can see his passion. Did you see when he came out and when he went in the tunnel, how he was high-fiving all the young kids? It was just, the guy just breathes football. And I think the same as Paratici. And listen, I think they've already got the people they think. And, going back to old Daniel Levy, I know we give him a hard time, but credit where credit's due. The guy's opened his checkbook and he's got Conte. Okay. Now, I'm going to be a cynic here, or I'm going to be the positive one here. And I'm going to say, come January, I think he'll open his checkbook. I think he will say, listen, we sat down, you came, there's 60 million or 70 million that you wanted, and you're going to try and get rid of 3 players. That's going to take it up to 120 million. We promised you that now and go. And I think Paratici is going to go get those players. I'm going to believe in this project because he believes in it. Because why would one of the top 3 managers on this planet currently come to Tottenham with no guarantees? What? So in February, for him to just piss off and walk away? He walked away from Inter Milan, who had just won Serie A, and he didn't give a shit.
But
this guy's been promised things. There's things written down. He's going to get... Levy would have to walk if this all blew up in his face.
Yeah.
And
very quickly,
I don't think he's prepared to do it. So as a positive person, I think you're going to see January. We are going to go out there. We're going to get a couple of players, the ones we want or the ones that Conte. And you're going to see us. If we can just keep our head above water now till January, you're going to see. So where do I think we could go? Listen, I'm going to put it out there. I think top 4. If we do get the people in January and we keep our heads above water between now, I'm going top 4.
Very quickly, the reason why he left Inter is because they got rid of their best stars and they had to buy to sell and all that, and literally they couldn't guarantee him stuff like that. And he likes to be guaranteed stuff to win, and that's the thing. I think Jacob's the same as me. Literally, I'm more than happy to back. I think we can get top 4, but it's Daniel Levy. He's the reason I'm being reserved because the amount of times he's promised stuff and he's never delivered on the pitch. It's always been behind the scenes and everything like that. He doesn't ever deliver when it comes to backing a manager. Look at what happened with Poch. We were so close, and then he never gave Poch any funds for a year. It's just Daniel Levy doing Daniel Levy things. That's the reason why I'm not getting. I want to be like, we're going to win everything, but
this is the first time in 20 years Daniel Levy has heard the crowd sing like they did on Saturday, and something's clicked in his mind. He's never done this before in his whole 20 years, and the crowd's been on his back. There's been protests outside, walking up and down. This is the first time that stadium turned on him, and he didn't like it. And he cut the chicken's head off there. He went for it. So I don't think he's bringing in one of the top managers in the world for February for Conte to go, do you know what? You promised me that. You haven't. I'm going. So I don't think so. I don't believe that. So I'm going to be positive. He's going to do it.
I agree with that. I don't think he will, but with history, with Spurs and all that, with Daniel Levy, it's history repeating itself. It's always been that. So until I see different, I'm going to be a cynic because it's just the way we've had to live with things for 20 years. So I've got to see it before I can get on board with it.
But that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like,
what gives me a little bit of hope, though? The hope that gives me is what happened, what the fans did on Saturday.
Yeah.
The backlash. That gives me the hope that Daniel Levy will never go down that road again. And that gives me the hope.
Yeah, but how many times have we seen that backlash? You've never seen that backlash before. You've never seen that before. So you're telling me that Tottenham's been all hunky-dory and you've never seen that before?
Which managers have ever been sacked halfway through the season to bring in the top 3 managers on the planet?
Mourinho.
Mourinho
was arguably one of the best managers ever.
He's wanted Mourinho,
and he got sacked before a final.
He wanted Mourinho because he was toxic.
But he
and
got
saved Daniel Levy's money as well.
Final. So you're saying that you want the Conference Cup here? Arguably, the Conference Cup is as equal as the League Cup. But Mourinho got us there, no matter how you like it, and he got sacked. And that was Daniel Levy's decision. So there's no way I'm going to sit here and go, right, Conte's come in and believe that he's going to back a manager when for the last 20 years, he's never backed anybody properly, ever.
But honestly, how much backlash did Levy take for firing Mourinho? I don't think he took massive amounts. I saw
he was going to get
I saw on Saturday, in all my time of supporting Spurs, I've never seen that backlash. That to me, that was shocking.
Levy don't care about us, mate. Trust me, mate.
Okay, well, and this is why we have different opinions, you know. And that's
so what, all I'm saying is that the reason why me and Alan are on the same wavelength is because when we brought Conte in, I was like, brilliant. But in my mind, in the whole, everybody thought the same way we thought about Conte when we brought Mourinho in. Because when we got rid of Poch, everybody was sad. But we brought Mourinho in and we thought, no matter what the football is, Levy's going to back him and we're going to win something. Mourinho's won more than Conte. Don't get it twisted. When we brought Mourinho in, it was a little bit dated. His football was outdated. But you can't disrespect the fact that he's won all of that. So we brought a manager in like that. No matter what the conversation was, he wasn't backed. And even though he wasn't backed properly, he got the best out of Harry Kane, he got the best out of Son, and got us to a final. And Levy still messed that up and literally put a teenager of football in charge of us to get to a cup final. So there's no way, if we had Mourinho in, they got us to a final, that you're going to... no one can convince me that I'm just going to go, oh, we've got Conte and we're going to win everything. Because if Conte went to any other club, apart from Tottenham, it's guaranteed success. But it's not here because we've got chairmen that might agree with Conte. But if Conte says, oh, you promised me 100 million and Daniel Levy gives 50 million, Daniel Levy is the sort of person that just don't care. It would just... If Conte walks, he's not bothered.
Do you think he's got a gentleman's agreement like Harry Kane? Conte has?
Probably.
Gentleman agreements mean nothing in business. They mean nothing.
Right, gentlemen, relax, gentlemen. I'm going to go to the lady of the group before you three start tearing into each other.
I was enjoying this show.
You forgot you was live, yeah.
The perfect debut.
It is great when them three start going. But Kirst, I agree with everything Jacob's saying. Every Tottenham fan has a right to be reserved in their happiness for Conte because we know who is leading the club. But the only argument, not an argument, like I say, I'll play devil's advocate, even though I'm on Jacob's side, so don't worry, Jacob, I'm still with you. But has Conte got something that Mourinho never had, which is a Paratici as the middleman? He hasn't got to go to Levy direct now. He's just got to go to his mate from Juventus, and who will then... He's clearly got a lot of pull at this club because apparently it was his final decision that Nuno was to leave. He is the one who chose Nuno to come in. So is it better for Conte that he's got that middleman where he could just go to Paratici and say, I want this player, go get him for me?
Absolutely. Like, think about it. We wouldn't have Romero if it wasn't for Paratici. So the fact that we know that he's someone who other players with a good skill set actually look for and want to work under, like, I think the fact that we do have him and they're not going straight to Levy is like a massive bonus on our side because other teams know that no one trusts Levy, especially, it speaks for experience in history and all the rest of it. You know, like what Jacob and Alan have said, like, it just keeps repeating itself. So the fact that we now have a middleman who's actually like, right, well, I'm going to like plan this, do this, it's going to kind of take their mind elsewhere because they might think that, oh, actually, like, we trust him. Like, we've seen how, like, he's a world-class finance, whatever you want to call him. Like, he knows what he's on about. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I would rather go to someone with Paratici there, like, alongside Conte, than go to somewhere else where they've just got someone like Levy. Like, it's just good to have someone who actually knows what they're on about when it comes to like the money side in football, because we all know that Levy's clueless.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do something in a minute, so I'm going to give you all 2 players each, and I just want you now under Conte's leadership of the club. I want you to tell me if you think they will thrive under Conte, if you think they'll be sold, loaned out, squad player. Before I do that, we've got another comment from Simon here, who agrees. He says Conte wouldn't have took the job without having been promised funds. And Levy knows this is his last chance saloon with his fans. That's why this time I think we will see a change. I think that's a burner account for Mark, but we'll move on, shall we?
I don't agree with that for a little bit, and I just really want to say the reason why. So, Conte wouldn't have come without guarantees, but we saw it under Pochettino. He took us so close to the Premier League title the first time in our lifetime, like Premier League title, and so close to the Champions League, all within the space of a season. And Pochettino says, I need to rejuvenate the side and everything like that. I need to get us over that line. I need a bit more money. I need this, that, and the other. He got nothing. And he was our most successful manager in the Premier League era. Yeah, even more so than Redknapp. You could say at least Ramos has won us the title, Fernando Ramos, but I'm sorry, he was nowhere near as good. But at that crucial time, when you probably said if we got one or two extra signings, we may have won a Premier League, or we may have won a Champions League. And Daniel Levy did nothing. So that's the only reason why I'm saying, until I see it, I can't get on board with it 100%. Conte, as a manager, we'll get this team working, we'll get the players working well for him and all that, but it just comes to that final little piece, Daniel Levy. But I hope with Paratici there, Daniel Levy, for once, just completely steps back, steps away from it, and allows Conte, Paratici, with the funds given to them, to do what they want to do. And then, yeah, I agree with Mark. I see us challenging for top four this season and progressing for the next season as well. But until that happens, I can't say it's going to happen because I've never seen it.
And I think as well, just to add to that, it's like, go on.
Alan, so on Sunday morning, when the rumours went around that Nuno was being sacked, and then you started Sunday afternoon hearing about the rumours of Conte, did you have that same kind of never going to happen? Only when the ink's dry will I believe it. I won't believe it. Did you have that same kind of feeling? That
yeah, exactly. I did.
Do that. He would never. There's no chance in how Levy would sign this. Too much money and all that. Did you think that as well?
I did think that, and I thought the reason why, if it was to happen with Conte, I thought the reason why he's trying to land a big manager and all that is purely for the fact is that he heard the first time everything like that. So if Conte turns it round and until January we win, like we beat Everton, and I think we've got an easy run. The only hard game on paper is Liverpool. Well, say that Brighton as well, but suppose we go on the run all the way through to January and we lose 1 or 2 and we turn it around massively on the pitch and we're in the top 4 and all that, I can then see Daniel Levy be like, I don't need to really back him because he's doing the job that I've got him to do. Yeah. That's what I'm worried of. So that's until, like, if we can do that, Conte, that's fine, and he can have us in the top 4. If he then comes out and goes to Conte, here's the money I promised you. Do what you want with Paratici. Have fun. Then I'll be like, oh my God, Daniel Levy, has actually done what he said he's going to do. But until I see that, as seeing what we've had previously at Spurs, I can't get on board until I actually see that. If it does, then like I said, brilliant. Going forward, I think we can do good things like us and Conte and the people he's bringing with Paratici. Until I see that, I'm reserved because of what we've seen previously.
And the thing is,
I get that. Yeah. I just think this man has not come without a few guarantees. He, when Pochettino first came, he was to be fair, he came from Southampton, and I think even us as Spurs fans were like, who's he? Who's this guy? And it was only really after the second season he was here that we started to look like, wow, this guy's actually quite good, great man manager. Conte's proven. Now, I know we talk about Mourinho, but you saw what happened at Man United. I think if you talk to every single Spurs fan, I think you will see 50 for and against Mourinho, even before he came. Whereas if you go now to every Spurs fan, I think you'll see 99% to 1% in favor of Conte. So this is why I think this is a different dawn. For me, there's a different feeling here. And I know it's only a couple of days, but it just feels different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. And I get that. But, in regards to the mess up and all that, the comment just there, I mean, even if he was to not back it and all that, and not back Conte and things were to go wrong, who's actually going to get rid of Daniel Levy? He's still going to be there. No, who's going to get rid of him? He's just always going to be there. I don't think Joe Lewis will get rid of him because it was the business side of things. No, Enoch's not going to remove him. He's not going to step down and all that. So Daniel Levy's always going to be there until they decide that they want to sell the club for a profit. So you know, it's just one of them things. But I hope he does back Conte and gives him the money, and then I think, you know, we can finally start winning trophies.
I think in terms of like money, the thing is, I think with a lot of Tottenham fans, I'm not saying they're deluded, but it's like everyone thinks, right, we get Conte, we get the money, and then it guarantees success. But what it is as a football club is that if you've got the money and the success, that's cool. But if you ain't got a plan, it don't really matter. So it's like if, you know, Conte and Paratici, everyone's talking about them as a pairing, but them as a pairing have never gone into a club that's been in the disarray that has happened at Tottenham. So they worked together at Juventus, where Juventus were at the time the biggest club in Italy. They'd just been, you know, they had their little debacle when they got relegated and then they got brought into, but everybody knew that it was the same situation with Rangers. Everyone knew that they got relegated, but at some point they're going to make it back to the top. You know what I mean? Like if Man City got put into League One, at some point it'd take 3-4 years, but they'll get their way to the top. So at the minute, we've got Conte, we've got the money, but I don't know what the plan could be. Nobody knows what the plan's going to be, and effectively, it's like they're going in. We've got two people that, as a pair, are going into uncharted territory with a chairman that isn't necessarily going to guarantee the funds. We're all saying hypothetically, this has got to be the last chance, but as I say, I remember saying this is going to be the last chance with Poch. I remember saying this is the last chance with Mourinho. So I'm saying last chance for the third time in 5 years. Nobody can sit there and tell me, because we've got Conte and we've got money, I don't know what the plan is. We don't know what the plan is. So as far as I'm concerned, them as a pair could be sitting there, the Italians, and going, you know what, we could do this, but they could go to Daniel Levy and say, you know what, in order for us to be successful, we need 200 million, plus we need to get rid of him. What if they don't get rid of the players and Daniel Levy don't give them the money? Then the plan, you might as well just chuck it in the bin.
But what if they do, Jacob?
When was the last time they did?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Conte and Paratici now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, Mark, you're old. You're older than me. So how many times have you said this is different?
I haven't, to be fair.
You must have, because we've had loads of managers.
I've not had a manager come in and go, yeah, he's going to take us to the top.
So you're telling me when Mourinho come in, you weren't convinced by Poch then?
No.
You weren't convinced by Pochettino?
No, I wasn't convinced by him when he first came in. No,
I'm on about in general. I'm not
turn my headphones down in a minute.
In general, so in the whole
when he came in,
let me speak, Mark.
Never knew who he was
in the whole grand scheme of things, so obviously we can't judge Conte because he's only just arrived. But in its simplicity, look back at all the managers that we've had. Have you ever been convinced that Daniel Levy's done the right thing with any manager? So you got to think, he's been there for 20 years, whatever it is. He's never got it right. And we've had some quality managers. We've had Pochettino, we've had Mourinho, we've even had, in the grand scheme of things, Harry Redknapp worked wonders for us and got us in the Champions League for the first time ever. He didn't back him. You know what I mean? There was a time where we were second in the league and we got given Ryan Nelson and Louis Saha when we agreed deals with Aguero and Diego Forlan. So that's Daniel Levy's fault. So if he's doing that 10 years ago and he's continued to do that, Pochettino was 14th, right, when he got sacked. But the 3 seasons before that, we got to a Champions League final. We got to how many semi-finals and finals? And in the grand scheme of things, the money that he got given, he was successful. But then Daniel Levy just goes, oh, hold up, you're 14th. This is a cheap option for me to get rid of you. And then he brings in Mourinho to win things. That goes wrong. He brings in Ryan Mason a week before Mourinho got us to a final. So we could have easily won the League Cup. Mourinho could have won that. We can all agree Mourinho was crap. We all hated that. But in my mind, I was like, I hate the guy so much. I hate his tactics, but give him that final because he probably would have won that the ugly way. But then Daniel Levy sacked him because it was cheap. So there's no way when the guys make these decisions.
It wasn't cheap.
So what did he say? What did he get rid of him for?
I don't know, but don't say it was cheap.
You don't know. So what? You give me a reason then.
You convince me then. £18 million a year.
You convinced me. You convinced me why he got rid of him then a week before he got us to a final.
Not because
what other reason could it be?
Wait, he got rid of him very quickly. He got rid of him.
He got rid of him quickly because there was a clause in his deal that as soon as he dropped out the top 6, the money is easier. So we dropped into 7th. A week later, we had a final, and then he gets sacked. It's so obvious.
Yeah, he got sacked because he dropped out of your thing, which means the payout for him was smaller. That's the reason why he got rid of him then.
Exactly. If we were top 4 and Mourinho was playing his crap football, but we was top 4, even if Levy wanted to pull the trigger, it's impossible because you'd have to pay him a lot more money.
Yeah.
Are you going to his agent?
Huh?
Are you sitting with his contract?
Are you?
No. Are you? Because
Give me a reason why he got sacked then.
It was reported. That's what was reported.
What's your breakdown of it? You break it down to me then, Mark. So if I've got that analogy and I'm wrong, you tell me how I'm wrong then.
I don't think he went because it was cheaper.
So what do you think it was then?
I just think he wanted to get rid of him.
For what reason? A week before a final. The geezer got us to a final.
It was toxic.
No,
But he got us to a final. It's not
like him.
It was widely reported that the reason why he was sacked is because in the position that he dropped to in the league and all that, he was outside of the Europa, which means they had an agreement that, you know, if he was sacked outside of European football, it would be less of a payout to him.
What agreement? I've never seen this agreement. Have you?
No, it was reported that was the agreement for the contract.
So why do you think he got sacked here?
Because the fans didn't. 50% of the fans didn't like him.
But we drew the game. We drew a game a week before the final. So if we drew a game, I know it's toxic, but even if you lose a game, so imagine, you're a Spurs fan, the week before we're playing a final, you could lose that game. You know what I mean? I could sit there and put it this way: if Tottenham are playing in a final next week, but Everton, we play them on Sunday and lose 5-0. Of course, I don't want Tottenham to lose. But in my mind, I wake up Monday and think, you know what? At least we got a final. So, if as far as I'm concerned, no matter what the result was, why did Mourinho get sacked a week before we get to the final? And you're saying it's bad vibes. We're about to go into a final. Why sack him? It's not like Ryan Mason had a game before the final. It's like Mourinho managed the last game before the final, and then he was like, "Hold up, Ryan Mason, you're in charge." It's all about money.
For all we know,
he
could have lost the dressing room. We don't know.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, what's your theory then? What do you think? So when you sat there and
I think he lost part of the dressing room. I think the players weren't playing for him. I think the fans didn't like him, 50% of it. But I don't think it was because it was an option. I don't know. I can't say it was a cheap option.
So he's lost the dressing room and he's lost the fans, but we've got to a final.
Okay.
It was
the fans for Man United. Hold on. He lost the fans for Man United. They hated him. He won the Europa Cup. He got them to second in but yet they sacked him.
Man United are a bigger club than Tottenham.
Come on.
They're a bigger club than us, man. Come on.
Wait.
Man United are a bigger club.
Mark, it was reported. I remember it was reported on Sky Sports News with reporters saying that was the reason why it was the best time to get rid of him because he'd fallen out of the top 6 in the Premier League and it was a cheaper clause in his contract to release him.
Sky News must be his agent as well. Yeah.
But when Sky News tell us that we got Conte as a manager, you're right to watch Sky.
No. Fabrizio Ramonero told us, not Sky Sports News. They were like 24 hours after.
Right, gentlemen, Kirst has been sat very patiently trying to get a word in between
it's
you.
Like we need to be
animal.
like Joseph meme up, don't we? Where it's like, if I speak, I'm in trouble. You don't interrupt them both.
Go ahead, Kirst. What is it you had to say?
Well, I can't remember what I was on about now.
Right, we'll go straight into what I was talking about. Have you got anything to say about the Mourinho Levy, Kirst, and the Conte Levy stuff?
Well, I don't really know if I should speak.
Yeah, you can speak, man.
I'm coming for you as well, Kirst. No matter what you say, I'm coming for you.
He's ready, isn't he? Oh, yeah, to be fair, I think we shouldn't have got rid of Jersey literally just before the final. I think that Ryan Mason obviously went in there. I think he had 2 matches with us, didn't he, before? Or something like that.
It was just the final. It really was just the final.
Yeah, well, I still think that we shouldn't have got rid of him at that time. Definitely should have just waited till after it. But yeah, to be honest, now after hearing them two, I don't even just say anything. I'm just kind of like, yeah, we'll move on to the 2 players thing.
Right. Are we all ready for this? Yes. Are we all calm? Are we all collected? Are we happy?
Yes.
Press
Let's
pause.
go.
Can you press pause?
Whoa, Jacob, stand back from the code like you're ready to fight someone. What's wrong with you, man? Right.
As each.
You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's fine. It's bloody headphones. Right. We'll crack on now. Alan, I'm going to go to you first. You've got Hugo Lloris. Contracts up in the summer.
Galini's not it for me. I don't think he's any good. So I don't think that's the area that Conte is going to look to originally. So I think he'll just continue doing what he's doing. I know he's had in previous seasons his times where he's been a bit, clumsy and error prone. But this season so far, I know we've conceded quite a few goals. He can't help it, the amount of shots he's faced and all that, and how poor our defence has been. But I think he's not made a calamitous mistake. I think he's going to continue playing for us even for next season. I think he'll sign a 1-year extension. And yeah, I just think he'll continue to play for us and just remain in goal. I don't see him going backwards. I just see him staying at the level he is.
All right, Mark, we're going to go into defence now. Obviously, Conte is looking like he's going to go to 3 at the back. So how do you think Eric Dyer's career is going to go from here?
Yeah, it's a tough one, that. He's a kind of defender. He looks so good, and then all of a sudden, boom, he comes with a mistake. There's always one mistake in the game from him. I don't know. I think Conte will bring somebody else in, if I'm honest. I think he'll look for like a Skriniar or something to partner with kind of Romero. I want to say, listen, he could get better under Conte, but I think, like we all been saying, he's got an 18-month contract with an extension, but he's going to want to do a quick fix, and I think in January you'll see him bring somebody in, because that's the kind of manager he is. I think Dyer will just become like second choice.
Yeah, so you having Dyer down as a squad player?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not just us. We have got the very reliable and wonderful guest of Simon, who is commenting at the same time. So for Alan's Lloris, he's said look for a replacement. And for Dyer, he wants us to sell Eric Dyer. But Kirst, I'm going to come to you now, because I've read reports that since we've signed Conte, I've read reports of certain players that he's looking to move on or just doesn't fit his way of playing. Now, one of these players I've read, and this suits you down to a T, is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I don't mean to upset you, Kirst.
Honestly, I can't be sentimental about it. I need to be realistic. We saw last night it was a terrible performance from Pierre. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to straight up just be like, yeah, he performed really poorly, but so did Skip. I've seen that we have been linked with Kessie, and we've also been linked with Brozovic. So I think it'll be interesting to see if either of those two come through. But I don't want to see Pierre dropped. He's literally my favourite player, and I watched the Denmark games, so I see how he is with Denmark. And then obviously, like I think it was Alan who was saying earlier, like some of them play different for their like national countries than what they do for Spurs. And I thought at one point, like before we got Conte, that we were starting to see that like snippets of that Denmark Højbjerg, them just like the typical Spursy one. And I'm hoping that obviously the rumours are false and Conte gives him a chance. But I think his attitude might also play a part because Conte doesn't like crazy ball. And obviously last night he referred to it all as just, it was crazy. And he even said that I didn't like it. So yeah, I would never say that I want to sell Højbjerg. I won't say that unless I've really got to a point where it's this time like he has to go. So for me, I think I will keep him as he is, and I'm just going to put a bit of trust in him.
Yeah, do you think he needs any more tattoos, a different hairstyle? I know how much you love Højbjerg. It is crazy. The WhatsApps you sent us last night, you were furious with people arguing with you about Højbjerg.
Yeah, like I literally didn't even say anything. At one point, I didn't say a single thing about the game, and I was having people send me links to other people's tweets that was like saying to sell him, saying that we should be playing Winks ahead of him. I thought it was madness. I thought just because I have come out and said that he is my favourite player, but it's nothing to do with his appearance or anything like that. Like I say, I watched the Denmark game, so I see him I see him play for them, and he has got a lot of potential, and I'm hoping that obviously under Conte that'll come through, like with the right time. But because of all the rumours that are saying that Conte's not a big fan of him, it's kind of making me a bit worried. But I'm not going to be like one of those people where I'll be in denial about it. Like I'll straight up, like with the performance yesterday, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, well, he won't the West, was he? Like I'll just straight up be like, yeah, he played shit. Like when he came off, like it should have happened. So yeah, I'm not going to say that we should drop him in January.
No. I am the same, Kirst. I am a big fan of Højbjerg. He's not old. It's not like he's got age on him. He's
I think he's only 26, 27.
Yeah, I think he is a crazy enough player, as that sounds, to fit a Conte system. He could be the general on the pitch that Conte needs with him on the sideline. I think he's just got to sort a system out that fits Højbjerg in, and I do believe that involves Skip dropping out, and I think Højbjerg sitting there.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but last night, like there was even a snippet on the telly of Conte. Literally, he was screaming at Skip, like he was like Skip, like proper yelling for him. So I do think that our little Skippy might get dropped if we was to get another midfielder in, but it all just depends. But like you said, I can see if we can fit Højbjerg into his system, which I think is possible because Conte likes to like he's always had that mentality anyway. He wants to, and his own words, like he wants to kill the opponent. And I think Pierre's got that mentality where he's a natural leader, isn't he, on the pitch? He likes to dominate and he wants to, like there's nothing stopping him really. But it's just these little mistakes that he's making at the minute that's so frustrating. And I can understand why people are quite like annoyed with him, but I'm not ready to write him off just yet.
No, I'm the same. He's not. He's definitely not done yet. But Jacob, I'm going to go to you now. And it's exactly the same that I've read about Højbjerg. I've read about a different player as well. That Conte would be, I won't say happy, but he would be okay with this player leaving in the summer. Who, at this point in the season, I think he's probably been our player of the season. That's Lucas Moura.
What? Sorry,
Yeah.
I heard that. Go, Jacob.
So that this morning,
Yeah. So what do you think will happen with Lucas, Jacob?
I think that when I looked at it, of course, I literally had the same reaction as Alan. I was just Lucas Moura. Like for me, in terms of endeavour and someone signalling what I want every player to do, it's been Lucas Moura from the off. But I think the only reason, when I've looked at it and thought about it, it's like Conte doesn't really play with wingers. So if you're going to look at it of what he did with Chelsea, what he did with Inter Milan, and what he did with Juventus, he's always played with a back three wing backs. So if we were going to say Lucas Moura and we really want him to play, the likelihood is he's going to be a wing back because he's a wide player. So it's either he adapts to being his next, Victor Moses or Ashley Young, or effectively doesn't play, because if you let's say it was Emerson Royal playing in that position, and then you had Højbjerg, two defensive midfielders, a creative two midfielders, so it'd be a Son and a +1, so say Ndombele and Kane, then Lucas Moura, unless Conte sees him as a number 10, he don't really fit in, does he? So I don't think the rumours are there because he's not able and he's not a good player. It's just Conte doesn't play with wingers. It's as simple as that. So it's like if he's an actual winger, Hazard was a winger for Chelsea, but we all know that you could literally play him in an attacking position and he'll thrive. Whereas Lucas Moura, I think there's questions around it, because we all know that as much as we love Lucas, he's not Eden Hazard, he's not Dybala, he's not, Lautaro Martinez. So I personally don't think he wants to get rid of him. I just think that the journalists are looking at the way that Conte plays and making a story out of the fact that Lucas Moura, as an out-and-out winger, doesn't fit into that system. But I think if Lucas Moura adapts himself well in training, works hard, and Conte looks at Moura the way we look at him and convinces Moura that he can play in other positions apart from in wide positions, then I don't see why he'd want to get rid of him, because he's probably been our best player all season.
Yeah, no, he has. I've loved watching Lucas. He's the only player. He's the only player who actually every time he picks the ball up, he's the only one who actually drives at an opposition defense. You actually see him trying to push the team forward. So I'm the same. I really hope he doesn't keep him. Sorry, guys. My head. I had a 4
month. I was on the wrong channel then. I was like, what?
Yeah, I had a 4-month-old who it was awake most of the night, so I'm not thinking straight. So just bear with me, Alan. Alan, calm down, Alan. For God's sake, relax.
What happened? You didn't say anything.
I'm going to go to Mark next, and we've spoke about Winks tonight, Mark, but what do you think to Dele Alli? How do you think he's going to treat the Dele Alli situation?
Yeah, I think he's a goner. I just don't think he's a Conte player. And I don't think Conte is going to have the time and the patience for him, not like Mourinho and all that. I think, I'm sorry, but, I don't want to drag it on, but I think he's gone. I think they'll be sitting down now saying, listen, I'll give you a couple of games to get yourself in the shop window. But you're not going to be in my plans. And I know that will hurt a few people saying that because they love Dele Alli, but yeah, I don't think he's got the time. And when you see who we could be linked with, when you see who we got coming maybe next year, I think it's far too late for him. So I think Dele's gone, in my opinion, which is a shame because 3 years ago, the guy was outstanding, wasn't he?
Yes, go on, Alan.
So I've raised my hand because apparently I'm going to interrupt, so I'll just raise my hand very kindly. So with Dele Alli, under Poch, he was playing as that shadow striker or like just behind, and it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. That's the correct word. But even towards the end of Poch and under Mourinho, he was dropped further and further back, which he can't play. If we're talking about Conte's style and the thing he wants, if he was to say the 3-5-2 or have like Dele Alli in the shadow striker to Kane again, I think you can get a player out of him. I think you can see him sort of back to nowhere near where he was, but close to that. But the thing is Dele Alli in training isn't good. And Conte will see that, and I think he won't get the chance to. If he gets his chance to play under Conte a couple of games and plays in that role, I think you might see him play a lot better than he has. And that may, but Dele Alli, like we saw in the documentary, he was, just the way he was behind the scenes, stuff like that. I think he will cause his own problems before he gets a chance on the pitch. So I agree he'll go, but I think there is a player there to be salvaged if you play him in that one and only particular role. But then, you need to be able to develop your role as a player and, and change your game up. But I don't think he's the type of player to do that. So it's either for me, that one role or bust with Dele Alli.
Yeah, no, don't worry, everyone. That classes Alan's second player. It's fine. You will get more Alan soon. But
Wait, I have a question.
Go on, Kirst.
What would you think to Ryan about Brian? Is it Hill? I'm going to ask you it. Yeah, you're asking all of us. So I want to know what you'd do with Brian.
Brian Hill.
Oh, yeah. I would. He's definitely a squad player. He's got a lot of learning to do, and I think this is probably one of the best managers to actually learn from. He can develop a new role in the system, whether that be a centre midfielder, getting forward from deep, tracking back. I think he's got a lot of bulking up to do. He's still he is a young lad. He's got a lot of bulking up to do over the rest of the season and the summer to get used to the Premier League. But no, I'll definitely keep him. But Kirst, this is not how this show works. I ask a question.
Well, no, I'm joking.
Somebody strong with power.
Oh God, I feel a bit. I'm lost now for power. I think I might.
You weren't expecting that, was you?
Where was you when I didn't pay my internet last month? Where was you when I needed you, Kirst?
I was in the comments watching.
Oh right, I'm going to stick with you, Kirst, and I'm going to give you.
Oh, here we go.
Stephen Bergwijn.
All right.
How do you think he is going to do?
I think he'll get flogged.
Mm.
I think that with Bergwijn there is something there. He has got some potential, but I think I can't see him working with how Conte kind of likes to play, and I can just see him getting sold.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He can't hit target for anything now. Get rid.
It feels like a sympathy selling, doesn't it? It's like we all like Bergwijn. We like you got the drip, you got the outfits, but it's like Antonio's coming, man. You're just you've got to survive, mate.
Well, I tell you what, Jacob, a player for you, Tanguy and Dembele. You told me. He's not a man who. He doesn't look like he looks like the Labour type in training. He looks like he just turns up, likes to kick around, likes to catch up with his mates. Nah, we've got a manager in now who will make him run lap after lap after lap until he has thrown up last week's dinner. Never mind last week's dinner. So how do you think Ndombele is going to do?
I think that when an appointment gets made, it's like players will have reactions. So someone like Harry Kane, a Son, a Højbjerg, Romero, they would have seen Conte and thought, yes, finally. Ndombele, on the other hand, probably had a fag. Do you know what I mean? He probably just like, oh, you know what? I've been getting away with having a fag. This is this. It's just one of those ones. It's make or break for me because I don't know what his fitness levels are like, but it's like the way he plays in a football match. I think to myself, like, Ndombele plays in a football match the way I probably would right now. So if Conte said, Jake, you're playing on Monday, I'd probably look like Ndombele. Like, I'm not in terms of the ball at my feet. I'm on about off the ball, running around. He just looks so unfit, and it's like, if you're in Dembele, it's literally make or break. It's like you either wake up in the morning and when Conte says no, do another 5 miles, you do it, or like Kirsty says, you get flogged. It's simple as that. It is as simple as that. It's like I don't know if you lot saw the video that I sent you where he's when Henri's interviewing him and he says, you know what, you like players, and he's literally said, look, I'd rather kill a player and have a squad of 22, even though I'm allowed 25. That's the sort of guy that we're dealing with. So for me, if it got to the point where I was playing for any level of football, if I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna have a few beers on a Friday night and play football on Saturday, and then all of a sudden the manager comes in and says that, if I take my football seriously, I'm putting the beers away, I'm putting the cigarettes away, I'm putting, the KFC away, I'm putting it all away and thinking I've got to get on point with this guy because I'm not going to get away with it. But in hindsight, none of us know that. The only person that knows that is Tanguy. Simple as that.
Where was it where Conte literally made all this? He just gave them nuts. He got rid of all the vending machines and stuff.
Yeah.
I hate. Was it Chelsea?
It was Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little things like that, you know what I mean? Tanky's probably bang on the Snickers.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. At Chelsea, he did. He gave him different like nuts for snacks and told him the best best way to sex positions to keep fit and all that. Lots of,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
he's a man. He's a man who knows what he's doing. Bless him. He is. You could imagine him.
Yeah, did you see that? He was pretty much saying, "Be proud to be a 1 minute man because we've got a game tomorrow."
you could imagine him at Ndombele's house just telling him before, like, right, remember, lad, we've got a big game tomorrow, so straight in, straight out, no messing, straight to bed.
He'd be hanging out the window going, "Oh, put the candles out."
Right, we've got two more things to get through. This last player is a question for all of you. So I do believe you should all know I'm going to now. It's been a talk all season. It has, but he's come out today, Alan, and he said that the ambition of the club is shown with this appointment, and he is extremely happy with the appointment. So where do you see Harry Kane now under Conte compared to Nuno?
This is so difficult now. So under Nuno, all day long, he was going to go. You know, he just weren't interested. He's saying the right things now that he's happy under that, So I feel bad for Nuno because he was up against it, because Kane was not really interested because of the manager that was brought in and the direction of the club. Now that's changed. Kane's basically saying that he's happy to stay. So for me, against Vitesse, I don't think he was still nowhere near his best. So I don't know. He's saying the right things. I think it will depend in January if we start bringing the players. Because if we don't bring in the players and all of a sudden there's rumblings that the money's not there, I think Kane will want to be sold. I think if we start bringing in named players like Kessie, Skriniar, or whoever else, like Vlahovic up front as an extra to Kane as well, if you go for the two up front, then I think Kane will be like, we're finally serious. He says he wants to win trophies, but there's guaranteed trophies elsewhere in the Premier League if he was to move, and there's the chance of winning something at Spurs if we do things right. Just depends on if he, what does he want to do? I don't have the answer for you at the moment. I really don't. I don't know. I would say he would. Don't get me wrong. I agree. I'd keep him all day long because he's, a proven striker. If we can get him playing, if he's actually wanting to be here. If he does want to be here, keep him. If he doesn't want to be here, get rid of him. But then Conte wants to keep him. And by the sounds of it, Kane wants to stay now. So with all his actions in the first 10 or 11 games, I will forgive if he decides to get 15, 20 goals and help us to top four in a trophy. But I'll never forget the way he held this club to ransom in the first 10 games of this season.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Mark, do you see any difference in Kane? Do you think he'll stay? Did you see anything different in last night's game?
I think he'll stay. I think he wants to work under Conte because, like any player, I think you want to work under the best managers because I think the best managers get the best things out of you, and you learn all the time. But it's quite interesting. I don't know if you saw Conte's interview today because they asked him about Kane and what he thought and everything, and he didn't really talk about Kane. He kind of collectively talked about the team. But he talked about working hard, and that included Kane. And I think he must have seen videos over the last 5, 6, 7 games, because that's him. He's passionate about football. You know what I mean? There's Antonio Conte. So I think he includes Kane with that. If Kane's not going to work hard, I have a funny feeling Conte will drop him because that's the kind of manager he is. He wants people that's going to spit blood. But I think Kane's that kind of person. If he puts his head to it and he puts his mind to it and he wants to stay and wants to play, and I'm with Alan there. I think if he does turn up now and he starts to bang in the goals and everything, I have a funny feeling that there's most probably a little bit of Conte in that. But then part of me says, well, he didn't want to play for Nuno. And that kind of stinks, because you still should give your all. He was the manager for Tottenham. You should still give your all for Tottenham. You know what I mean? So I'm with Alan there. That kind of... that's cheap for me. So if he starts turning up for Conte, fantastic. That's what we want because we want him banging in 25, 30 goals a season. But if he does it because of Conte and he didn't want to do it for Nuno, it's that smells bad. You know what I mean? Then
I agree.
I have a bit of a problem with that.
You're right there, Mark, as well, because it's like, forget the club and forget Nuno and everything. You should want to do it for yourself. You know, we've all got jobs here. So obviously Harry Kane's got a luxurious, you know, what he does for work is brilliant. But it's like we all go to work, wake up in the morning, and as much as you want to do it for your manager or do it for your peers or the people that work underneath you, you want to do it for yourself. You want to build a career. So if, it shouldn't really matter. You know, when you wake up in the morning and want to do the best in your job, it doesn't. What the people around you shouldn't dictate what you want to do for the rest of your life. You're only born once, but when players and football players do things, I think to myself, like, don't you want to do it for yourself and your family? Don't you want to build yourself? You know what I mean? There's players out there that no matter who the manager is, they smash it. You know, that's why Messi and Ronaldo are the greatest, because, you know, look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo's probably a better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, but he's there banging goals and he's still the GOAT, even though realistically he's probably going home to his missus going, I don't know why I come here, but realistically, I've seen a stat this morning where Ronaldo is responsible for 50% of United's goals and assists. So realistically, up until last weekend, Spurs were above Man United, even though Man United have got Ronaldo, they've got Cavani and all this, but Ronaldo's making Harry Kane look stupid. So what are you sulking about? You know what I mean? Harry Kane always comes out, you know, when he's on top form saying, I want to be as good as Messi, I want to be as good as Ronaldo, I want to hit those numbers. He was doing that when he was under Poch, but then all of a sudden, when it's going bad, you want to go and run off to Man City, and then when you don't get off to Man City and you're scoring goals, you don't want to look at yourself. You want to look at the manager and all this. So, like, I agree with Mark in the fact that if he starts banging goals for Conte, it's brilliant for us as fans, but Harry Kane needs to look at himself and think, what, you're scoring goals because all of a sudden that you've got respect for one guy, but not for another. Take the guys out of the situation. Have you not got enough respect for yourself and your career? Simple as that.
Yeah, well said. I mean, Jacob's been on it tonight. Jacob has been on it tonight.
Mate,
He's had his KFC tonight. That's what it is. He's had his KFC.
It's been 2 weeks.
Bricks, mate.
This has been 2 weeks. This is our first show in 2 weeks. Jacob has stored all of this, and he has brought it with him tonight. So
when I said I missed you guys, I meant it. I needed this stuff, man.
Well, we have missed you, Jacob. Don't you worry. But Kirst, give us your Kane opinion. Do you agree with Mark and Jacob? Do you see him thriving under Conte, which is a bit of a kick in the nuts for Nuno?
Yeah, I think that, to be honest, I think with Kane, this is just my perspective. Obviously, it's fine if everyone else disagrees. But in the summer, he kind of spat his dummy out big time when he didn't get that Man City deal. So when we got appointed Nuno, who's literally a mid-league manager, like, he's not world-class like Conte is. Obviously, someone of Kane's level who is like a world-class striker is going to think, well, why the hell am I even still here? Like, he's not going to perform because he's going to be thinking, maybe he actually thought, if I do underperform on the pitch, maybe they'll start listening and maybe they'll get someone in who is kind of on his level. You don't know if it's like an ego thing, maybe. But I do think that now that we've got Conte, we'll see the best of Kane, because Kane was very excited with the appointment. He was very excited as well with how the fans reacted to Conte coming in. And then obviously Conte said in the past, before he even came to Spurs, that if he could have a striker, like, he wanted Kane. So I do believe that them two are going to develop like a really good relationship, and hopefully we do get someone like Vlahovic, like, who'll come in and will go behind Kane, or like as a backup. I mean, and yeah, I think that with him especially, you've got to kind of take him with a pinch of salt because he is so talented. But at the same time, you don't want someone who isn't going to play for the badge, do you? Like, regardless of their stance. But I do think that we don't have much to worry about with Kane anymore, because I think that now he will start getting them in the net.
Yeah, do you agree with the comment, Kirst? Obviously,
I ain't ready. What's it?
Is it Kane must leave for his own good and the club? If he's staying, he's getting a hell of a pay rise after all he's done, and it's demotivating players who are showing nothing but loyalty, and it's toxic.
That's a great point. Literally, what
Yeah.
you said there is bang on.
Hmm.
He has made
Imagine
a really good
if you
point,
play for Spurs. Oh, go on, sorry, Chris.
Oh no, it's all right. I do get where he's coming from. I even said myself at one point, like he wants to be reaching that target where he's going to be winning trophies. He knows where he's going to get success, and obviously Spurs are so up in the air. Like there's curveballs all the time. Like nothing is guaranteed, and we at the moment we're clinging on to hope that Conte is going to get us in that top 4 slot. Whereas obviously if Kane does go to somewhere like Man City, he knows that he's likely to. Well, he will get there. But I think that if Kane was to bugger off to Man City, it's a kick in the teeth because they clearly don't appreciate him for his talent and things, especially the way we do. Because otherwise, they would have forked it out in the summer. And you can't give Jack Grealish 100 mil and someone like Kane like pretty much the same because they didn't want to pay the 150. Like them two are completely different wavelengths, aren't they? So, yeah, I personally think that even though it would be good if Kane... for Kane, I mean, not for us. If it would be good for Kane, like for himself, if he was to go to like a better club. But now that we've got Conte, I think he's staying, and I hope he does stay. I think that we'll get the best out of Kane.
Definitely. Fingers crossed we do get the best Harry Kane. But last thing to do before we go, obviously we haven't got onto the Everton game because of the Conte news, but I still need predictions. Remember, it is 3 points for a correct scoreline and a result. It is 1 point for the result.
Did we do the Man United game?
Can I put my hand up? Yeah. Do I get points? Yeah, because I said when we play West Ham, we'll lose by a goal, and then when we played Man United in the WhatsApp group, I said we'll lose by 3-0.
I will tell you now. This is only our third prediction, but the four of you have all got a point each. I'm still on 0. I'm giving you all a bit of a head start. You know that boost and all. That's just the type of guy I am. So
all
right.
How generous.
Right, I'm gonna hire someone for Alan because I've been watching Alan all night, and the gifts you could get off Alan during the show.
Yeah. Hey. How do you know I've not already been on it?
Oh,
Kirsty's been too quiet, man. I'm waiting for
it. My phone is here. Who knows?
I feel violated. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, I'm joking.
I feel violated.
This is what you get for going to a Thursday show before the Friday. You know how I feel about that, Alan. You're not going.
Well, I like to flaunt it about everywhere, you know me.
Right, before we get into that sort of talk, I'll go straight to predictions. Me, personally, I am predicting a Tottenham 3-1 win at Everton. Alan, what are you going for?
So, I'm predicting us 2-1 to Spurs, sorry. 2-1 to Spurs. I misspoke. Relax.
It's recorded, mate.
Relax, chill. 2-1 Spurs. So we saw in the Vitesse game, they're up for it. You know, they want to impress, but we've still got the problems there, and it's going to take a little bit longer to play really good football. So and like progress and have better results. So I think it's going to be a cagey game. The being down to 10 men, being a bit tired, playing a full game on Thursday will add to it as well. So that's why I think it's just going to be a close game and a 2-1 win.
2-1. Mark, what result are you going for?
Well, I think you're going to get your first point, Ryan, because I'm going to go 3-1 as well.
Oh, thanks, Mark. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, well, if you're going to do what I say, then I think you will.
I swear down here, I've got love for Mark, man. Mark, I wish you lived with me, yeah? When it's kickoff, yeah, you knock on the door and go, "Hi, Jake, I'm here," and we're just going to sit there and watch the game because I would get all the confidence in the world. I wouldn't get stressed.
Yeah, I think 3-1. I think, the Conte effect is still there. I think Everton running through a bad patch at the moment. They don't have Calvert-Lewin, whatever his name is. He's out. I think there's a couple in the midfield that aren't playing. And I think they're there for the taking. And I think it'll be a good game just before we go into the break, which is a shame that we've got this international break coming up because it just would be nice for the next few weeks for Conte to get hold of these players. But I'm going to go for a 3-1, a good 3-1.
Good choice, Mark. That is a very smart decision. I could not
No.
blame you.
I think when I messaged you earlier on this afternoon, it was.
I'm not having that. I'm not taking that. I should remove you from the stream for such slander. Cursed. You are level with these three gentlemen. Like I say, I am a gentleman. I am ladies first. You are winning by a point. So tell me, Curse, what result are you going for?
I'm going to go for a 2-1. I think that obviously, even though Calvert-Lewin's injured, they do have Richarlison, they've got Gray, Townsend, and I think that they're going to put up a good game against us. Conte even came out earlier and he said that Everton, he basically just said that they're always a good team to play against, but they're not in good form at the moment. They've actually been really, really poor. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. That's why I'm not shooting off about 3-1s, because I can't see 3-1 happening. I hope for your sake, obviously, it does. I still think that we're going to win anyway, but I'm going to stick with my standard 2-1.
I've chased you, Curse, for a month to get you on this show. This is twice now that you've dropped me now,
Actually,
Curse.
you know what, Ryan? I think that it's been longer that we've been trying to do one, because I was streaming and I stopped in August, and we was trying to get each other on my show back then, and then there's like a pause, and then you've tried getting me on this one for so long. It's the pause. It's broke me.
Yeah, it's just... well, we're here now. That's all that matters. We're here now. You are this close to replacing Alan as vice captain. This close.
What?
Oh,
That's a disrespect to me as well. I was thinking, hold up.
What?
Me and Mark have done our crafty.
Yeah, shut
I'm
up.
gonna
Wait, Mark. Wait, he doesn't like Africans, mate.
Shut the front door.
Replace me as vice captain. I'm going to have to speak to Indiana.
Oh my God.
How dare
Did
you?
you say vice captain?
Oh, vice captain, Mark. Vice captain. I can't trust you and Jacob to be vice captains because you're both hot-headed. You both can't control your tempers on the stream.
I can. Was the grumpy one.
No, Alan is vice captain just because I've streamed with Alan for so long now. It just comes second nature to me.
Whatever.
We need to link up as soon as possible. Now I'm getting stressed.
Listen, Alan is vice captain because my big bro Patrick weren't available to be on the streams.
Wow.
Oh, no.
He's fully taking the piss out of us.
I know.
Cursed, you know what I'm talking about. You know the big man Pat.
I love Pat, yeah.
You
Absolutely
know,
disgusting.
right, Alan, I
Your
love
guy.
you really.
No.
When we meet up for drinks, Alan, I will buy your first free drinks on Daniel Levy. That will be
Bullshit.
fun.
That's
I'm
what
back in the
people
room, I'm back
say
in the
when
room.
they say, I'll get the taxi, you get the drinks. That's not going to happen.
I'm back in the room for that. Go on then.
Right, last prediction. Jacob, you have been going for a lot of Tottenham defeats at the minute, which is understandable, but what are you going for this weekend?
Well, I'm going to say that I predicted that we'd lose by a goal to West Ham. I got it right. I said we'd lose 3-0 to United. I got that right. So I'm probably going to get it right again. 2-2. And the only reason I say that is not because Everton are a better team than us. I just think Conte is going to really struggle to play his system with three centre-halves when us as fans all believe in one centre-half. So we look at Romero and we think, right, he's the only centre-half that we believe that's got the heart, he's got the talent, everything like that. But then no matter who he puts either side of him, whether it's Dyer, Davis, Sanchez, in my mind, I'd love Conte to give Rodon a chance, but then he probably won't give him one. So I think even though we'll probably play well and dominate a lot of periods in the game, I just think defensive errors are going to cost us. So I think I don't think we'll lose, but we'll draw. 2-2.
Jacob going for a right little Desmond there. Desmond 2-2.
Desmond 2-2.
Yeah, he has been on a good run of form, but let's hope it breaks. But thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for tonight. An hour and 45 minutes in. Obviously, it's been a hectic week as a Spurs fan. But my one and only vice captain, Alan, please tell everybody where we can find you.
Now you've apologised and you said I'm the one and only vice captain, I will say where I was going, just so you know. So they can find me on Twitter. My handle's there, Alan R. Clark 3. They can find me on here every Friday night at 10 p.m. getting insulted by Ryan a lot and then making up to me in the end. It's fine. I'll take that. Every Thursday on Igal's EGTV, his prediction channel, and every other Thursday, every fortnight Thursday, Sarcasm City on another Tottenham stream with Eleanor. Stop shaking your head, Ryan. And then I am also on a Spurs podcast on Monday, and I will put the information on Twitter as well when that comes, so that you can all have a listen in for when it becomes live. Stop shaking your head. Get on with it.
You know what?
Treat me better and I'll stick around.
I love Sarcasm City, Flawless, Ryan, Jan. I love it. But you know how I feel about that Thursday show, Alan.
What?
You know how I feel about it. You know.
I'm always here Friday. It's fine.
Right, that's fine. Alan's here Friday. He better be here Friday. Otherwise, it's a toss-up. Mark, Jacob, Kirst. There's a big fight going on here for vice captain. So I will trust the three of you to debate between yourselves. But Mark, do you want to let us know where we can find you, mate?
Yeah, find me every Friday, or Sky Sports News on a Saturday and Sunday morning, BT Sports Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Premier Sports on a Thursday. So, look out for me. I'm big, I'm happening.
That never gets old.
I'm like the next Crouchy, so just catch me. Just catch me on Twitter. You've all got my handle, you know what I mean? Catch me there, and I'm too busy at work to be anywhere else, and I'm too tired to be doing any other shows. So this is the only one I do. So Ryan, I should be your vice captain.
Oh, Mark, you're a legend, man. I swear.
Hey, no, Mark, you've put up a good fight. You've put up a good fight. You've given me a lot to think about come next Friday.
Hell he has. My arse.
Mark, you could be pushed up to right here come next Friday.
You're gonna be Conference Cup skipper. You're gonna be Ben Davis.
Awesome.
Oh, God,
I don't wish that on Mark. Bloody hell, being Ben Davis. I don't wish that on anyone.
Kirst, thank you very much for finally coming on with us. We have wanted you on here for so long. You are one of the panelists. You are one of my trusted Tottenham fans. Do you want to let everyone else know where they can get you?
Yes, from this Friday onwards, you'll find me here on a Friday. To be honest, I'm a bit like Alan, except I don't dedicate to set days. I'm kind of just on various channels here, there, everywhere. Usually I'll repost that my handle is there, THFCcast. You'll find it on Twitter, on Instagram. Usually if people message and ask me to hop on, if I'm not busy with my little uns, I'll happy to just kind of hop everywhere.
Just not Thursdays, Kirst. Any day but Thursday.
I don't even know what's happening on a Thursday.
Don't worry about Thursdays, Kirst. Don't worry. But
it's Europa Cup. It's Europa Cup or Conference Cup, Kirst.
Jacob, do you want to let us know where we can find you? Not Thursdays, of course, but every other day.
Yeah, so you can find me on here every Friday. I'll probably keep updated on Twitter because there's a lot of new shows that us guys collectively are jumping on as well. So if anybody's watching and they want to hear my view,
I'm joining that Monday one that you lot are doing as well.
Exactly. So I think collectively, obviously, you'll find me on those shows. But if you obviously are watching this and like my opinion as well as everyone on this show, just watch out that we're probably going to be on multiple shows together simultaneously. So just keep an eye out, man.
Definitely.
And I'm excited because it's like we always have fun, we always have debates, but this is what I look forward to. You know what I mean? I could have easily been in the hub on a Friday with my friends doing what I wanted, but I prefer to stay in here, so it's all good.
Aww.
Yeah, at the minute.
I could have easily been pissed up, but then I don't get a hangover with you, not.
Yeah, true.
Jacob, that is the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Yeah, I'm going to hug. There you go. I'm going to hug you. There we go. There's a hug. There's a hug. There's a hug.
I don't believe it. He just wants to be vice captain.
Cursed. This is why I've got you on. This is why I've got you on, Cursed. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who's watched tonight and commented. Don't forget to subscribe to First 11 channel, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere you want. You can find me at Ryan Madden 1991. Every Monday, Coys.com podcast, which on rotation, my panelists will also be on. It's a channel hosted by Dan Tracy and Patrick Tyrant. Obviously, everyone knows Big Pat by now. Mm-hmm. I think there's future guests. Obviously, with the four of you, there's going to be the Queen known as Tanya. There's going to be yes, there's going to be Callum. There's going to be loads of Tottenham fans. They're just trying to get different fans on at the minute. So I think Holly's on as well. Obviously, Hull's Hotspurs. She's fantastic as well. So you can find us here every Monday. It's just a podcast. This Monday, I don't know. I think it's Alan who's coming on this Monday. Yep. Kirst has demoted herself to last because, like myself, she's got 2 young children, and we're not as fortunate as Alan, Mark, and Jacob to have grown up adults, children. So we are a bit busy.
You saying I'm old or something?
I'm saying you're extremely old, Alan. Now calm down, please. Your vice captaincy is slipping with every word you speak, Alan.
That's not gonna work on me much longer the more you keep going on the back, because I know it's a load of BS.
All right, thank you all very much, and it is the same time next Friday where hopefully, fingers crossed, we will go into the international break with 3 points under Antonio Conte. So until next time, guys, good night.